Can be a very bad year when it comes to terrorism and terrorist attacks all over the place. Paris is going to be another big place with that.
It was a bloodbath. They shot at us and they reloaded the guns.
I didn't know what was going on, and they told me that there had been attacks all over Paris, including explosions in near the stadium. So I understood that something big was going on.
As far as traveling abroad, I see people going overseas and it being very dangerous and lining them up for mass murder, basically.
A terror attack in Tunisia has left at least 22 people dead. 17 tourists were killed, while 2 of the assailants and 1 policeman died in the raid by security forces that ended the standoff this morning at the Bardo Museum.
ISIS, the Muslim extremists, will definitely want to be heard in 2015, and they are going to be heard. Seeing these crazy folks going into buildings and taking them over.
The heavily armed trio, possibly garbed in body armor, stormed into the Inland Regional Center in San Bernardino and opened fire.
Issues arise surrounding the Statue of Liberty related to security issues, maybe even a possible terroristic threat towards the Statue of Liberty.
At about 11:30 today, the U.S. Park Police received a call from someone with a bomb threat, actually, saying that there was a package in one of the visitors' lockers.
I kept seeing large protests with very angry people outside the Supreme Court.
Those protesters were at the opening session of the court, some yelling "one man, one vote," specifically protesting the Citizens United ruling that allows unlimited campaign contributions.
Reality stars are going to be brought down by the government and by the IRS on tax evasion.
More legal trouble for Abby Lee Miller. She's now facing an indictment for bankruptcy fraud, concealing almost $1 million to gain more favorable terms.
Michael "The Situation" Sorrentino, a former cast member of the MTV reality show Jersey Shore, pleaded not guilty on Thursday to federal tax fraud charges.
You're going to see gun sales go up this year like never before.
Calls for more gun control seem to only push the demand for firearms. Gun sales continue their upward trend. Newly released FBI data show this past September was the busiest September ever for gun background checks.
I see actually a murder that takes place on a cruise ship. I believe the person that's responsible is one of the crew members.
The Broward Sheriff's Office is investigating what caused a man's deadly fall from a Royal Caribbean cruise ship.
The cruise line has said Bernardo Elbaz intentionally jumped from the Oasis of the Seas, but the attorney for the Elbaz family says that he fell and staff negligence is partly to blame for his death.
Huge advancements in the way of cancer treatment.
There was some major advances in cancer research this month. Hear about this, that Utah researchers announced a new treatment for melanoma that they say works by injecting tumors with viruses that are actually wired to destroy them.
New York City shuts down. The shutdown of New York City could be based on serious weather scares.
Blizzard moving east right now. Massachusetts really getting hit hard. Eastern Long Island, no fun out there as well.
The shutdown of New York City could occur more than once.
Water gushed into the subway after a water main break at 7th Avenue and 13th Street in the West Village. The FDNY evacuated hundreds of people from the subway.
California, especially Los Angeles, is about to endure quite a ride. They have continued issues with drought.
The state of California is resorting to drastic measures tonight to combat its severe drought.
Summer 2015 will experience the hottest temperatures on record globally.
July 2015 was the hottest month registered on the planet since record-keeping began.
Lots of things will come out of the state of Texas this year, including drought. When it finally rains there, they get so much rain that it causes torrential floods and downpours.
Weather whiplash. Just 3 weeks ago, large parts of Texas and Oklahoma were still locked in the grips of an unrelenting multi-year drought, with parts of Texas classified as being in exceptional drought conditions, the worst possible category. Historic rainfall that shows no sign of letting up anytime soon. Many locations have already eclipsed their record rainfall total for any calendar month.
Gold being a huge topic in 2015, that could make it a golden year, and perhaps the discovery of some lost gold. And I'm talking like a major treasure chest of gold being discovered.
Have struck gold. A local booty salvage crew uncovered $4.5 million worth of gold coins from the Spanish shipwrecks off the coast of Vero Beach late last month.
In a frenzy of activity in Poland after the supposed discovery of a Nazi treasure train that went missing in 1945.
We're going to see mines collapse and deaths related to that. So underground's not a good place to be this year. I keep seeing this large gap that opens up, and I see all this water that just rushes into it. This gap seems as if it goes actually under the earth.
More than a dozen people are feared dead after a dam burst at an open pit mine in central Brazil, flooding the nearby town with a tsunami of sludge, burying homes and carrying cars along with it.
Not a good year for airlines at all. The airlines responsible for the flight that disappeared is going to endure new issues in 2015. I believe part of the issue may be them filing for bankruptcy.
Malaysia Airlines is technically bankrupt, its CEO said on Monday, as it discussed major restructuring plans, including the sale of aircraft and job cuts.
I see large protests that go back. I see looting, fires, cities burning, protests revolved around the police will only escalate in 2015.
Breaking news, violent protests, running street battles breaking out of Baltimore after the funeral for Freddie Gray. Rioters pelting police with rocks and smashing a squad car. At least 7 police officers are now down. They're wounded.
There's going to be a lot of breakthroughs in the way of discoveries related to ancient history, especially discoveries revolved around the existence of Jesus Christ.
It's claimed that this box is no less than the burial casket of James, the brother of Jesus Christ.
The truth about life outside our solar system, the discovery of life on other planets.
An incredible story from space as the Mars rover Curiosity has found some very interesting clues about the Martian landscape.
This is a huge discovery of whether or not life could have existed on Mars, or if it does exist now.
This could be a year with a lot of explosions by accidents, and different plants or factories, including China, that explodes could end up causing another major disaster.
Just before 11 p.m. local time, a fire was reported at a warehouse in the Bin Hai New area of the city. That's close to the harbour. It's known for its heavy industry. At around 11:30 p.m, the first explosion, quickly followed by another, much larger blast just seconds later.
I do believe that Wall Street will also endure hacks.
Hackers largely operating in Ukraine repeatedly penetrated the networks and servers of MarketWired, PR Newswire, and BusinessWire.
We are going to see many news stories in relation to earthquakes hitting areas that normally have no activity at all. Most of this is caused by the oil companies in fracking.
Oil and gas production has quickly become Oklahoma's largest industry, but now some scientists are questioning whether the increase in earthquake activity is related to part of the fracking process.